Okay, thank you. So we are being asked this evening to vote on a resolution 2017-8 for justice and dignity. This resolution has been brought to us by a group of individuals of Shorewood Solidarity Network. I'm just giving slight background. I know the rest of the trustees know this. We've discussed this at length over the course of many meetings, but just for the sake of edification here. Thank you. So this is a resolution which is different from an ordinance, which it will be forthcoming. This has been agreed upon by both the village staff and the Shorewood Solidarity Network. But tonight, or this evening, we're asked to consider an ordinance or a resolution. And I'm very excited that we have this opportunity in Shorewood to bring this resolution forward. This supports our commitment in this village to dignity, justice, and to ensuring that all of our residents feel safe and sorry. So I'm going to make a motion, I think, first because there might be some discussion on this. I will make a motion, and you're going to have to help me out with this statement. So I'm going to make this motion so that the rest of the individuals here can discuss this. That's second, I'm looking for my language. I move to adopt the resolution for justice and dignity with amendments provided by Trustee Amanda. Would she have to just amend the motion, or should I make? Okay, with the following amendments.
Okay, in the third whereas clause, the second sentence starts, this declaration codifies. Okay, and the third whereas clause, the second sentence states, this declaration codifies, and we wanted to, the committee agreed to change that word to reaffirms in the place of codifies.
Third paragraph, second.
The third whereas clause, the second sentence that starts this declaration, instead of codifies, will say reaffirms the Village of Shorewood and its residents' commitment to stand tall and proud of those who are vilified and persecuted, et cetera, et cetera. And in the second, be it resolved, okay, so be it further resolved that every person has the right to peaceably assemble, associate, protest, and state and insert or promote any conviction, cause, or creed without fear of arrest, harassment, or intimidation. Did you get that?
I don't know which paragraph.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, so it's in the second, be it further resolved.
This is 621. This is the resolution.
So it should read, it should read, has the right to peaceably assemble, associate, protest, and state, and then insert or promote any convention, cause, or creed, and then start without fear of. Conviction, cause, or creed. Okay, that's it, thanks.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion.
So is this including the two proposed amendments by the village attorney on immigration status?
We can't hear you.
Is this motion on the floor include the two wording changes proposed by the village attorney?
We can't hear which resolution we adopted. Is it the original or is it the one?
It is the one, I'll defer to the
authors, but the short answer is in section 3 and 6, the version that you're voting on does include the phrase immigration status in 3 and 6.
Correct.
Does that answer your question? Okay.
Yes.
I'm wondering also, I know there are a lot of people that were involved in this, both from idea generation as well as language drafting, etc. I'd be interested in hearing, I don't know if there's a central person or a leader, so I'd like to hear from somebody else in the group on their comments.
Good evening. My name is Carlos Pastrana from the Shorewood Solidarity Network. I live in 4319 North Alpine Avenue. I'll gladly answer any questions you have.
You've been working on this for a long time. There's a lot of people here that are very interested, and I think some of those people are sitting here at the board that are also very interested in completing this work. Do you have anything else to tell us other than the introduction that Trustee Bachor said, or the language that we see here, for those of us that weren't involved in all of the meetings and activities that you've had until now, without you don't have to summarize the entire process, but just comments.
Well, first of all, the resolution, as you well mentioned, we put in a lot of work along with the Public Safety Committee and personnel from the village. The resolution seeks to make the village's reputation as a progressive community. It's anchored on that reputation, well-earned reputation that the village has. And as far as the resolution, the language that Trustee Meyer asked about the immigration status being included, we feel very strongly that the immigration status is an important component of the resolution. In as much as I don't think that the resolution can guarantee the dignity and the safety of every individual that either lives or walks through the village without including immigration status. Immigration status, first of all, this is hardly a radical thought. Other municipalities throughout the U.S. have already created a protected class for immigration status. And municipalities can in fact do so, and like many have done so. Also, we don't live in normal times nowadays. I mean, we all know, we are all aware of how important this is and how important it is that we protect immigrants that live or that work or that drive through our community, because that couldn't be a more American principle, in our opinion. And that couldn't be a more Shorewood principle, in our opinion. So that's why we think and we urge you very strongly that you consider the resolution as it is right now, as you have it in front of you. Because only that resolution is complete, and only that resolution fully guarantees the dignity of everybody. Now, just to me, I imagine that some of you might have the concern of exposure or liability being created for the village. I'm an attorney. I traffic and deal in exposure for my clients. Our interest in drafting this resolution was in fact to protect the village from exposure and liability. Many municipalities in the U.S. have been sued because they have helped ICE do its work, which they're constitutionally not supposed or not forced to do their work, and they have been sued when they have violated constitutional provisions, and they have been found liable. So in a sense, this resolution also protects the village from exposure, because it only guarantees that the village will do its bare minimum under the law to further, as far as enforcement of immigration laws. And again, like Trustee Buckhurst mentioned, I think it's Trustee Buckhurst, it's a resolution, it's not an ordinance. The ordinance is something that we're going to look forward to working on with you in the future. If you have any questions, I'll gladly address them. Thank you.
Thanks for coming out tonight. I did read over the attorney's opinion and in the staff memo. I didn't read it the same way. I don't feel this is necessarily with the language proposed by solidarity group and formulated in committee and by staff, I feel that we are protected. There's nothing in here from what was originally submitted that would make us liable in any fashion, because that's how I read it. It just, you know, I'm very grateful that this was brought forward to us, and that it was included in here were other things than just the solidarity, whatever it was called the first time. It's just immigration status. I like the fact that when I got on the board about a year and a half ago, I read all the policies. And although we had two that I found that are on the books about discrimination in our community, they were basically just restating what the federal laws say. This is, to me, talking with the residents in some of the groups in the back room of my shop. Basically, this represents the Village of Shorewood's first resolution put forward that I could find that explains our values for human beings, and it's a first step. It's high level. It discusses, you manage to keep in the real estate practices, you manage to keep in the businesses that may be discriminating. I'm very excited that you did that and you were capable of getting it to board with that language. I'm excited, and maybe at the end, after we hear from more residents, to ask some questions on what next steps are, and possibly Trustee Menta can just fill us in on how we're going to move forward with the Community Relations Council to further look at our ordinances, our policies, and see what else we can do. Thank you.
I look forward to supporting this, and thanks for everybody for working on it and sticking with the process. I know it was a lot more complicated than I anticipated, but I've learned a lot. I guess I would like to hear, because we did receive the memo from Nathan Mayer on a legal opinion, I'd just like to hear a little bit more about that, if possible, but I look forward to voting for this tonight.
Good evening. My name is Nathan Bear, and I'm the village attorney. And first of all, I just wanted to thank the Public Safety Committee as well as the Shorewood Solidarity Network for the work that they've done collaboratively on this. And just want to explain so the folks here understand that my role is a little bit different. I don't immerse myself in policy questions. The only real legal issue is does the policies and procedures that we adopt as a municipality, do they comport with state and federal law, or does it potentially expose the municipality to any liability down the road? So my role is a little bit different. So again, I have great respect for the people that have worked on this, and especially this Shorewood Solidarity Network, and I appreciate the opportunity that I've had to work with them. And through that collaborative process, I think that we don't have any issue, I don't see any issue at all with the language, except for two very specific phrases in section 3 and 6 of the proposed resolution. And the reason is that in those particular sections, not only is it a statement of general policy, but it actually, on a theoretical level, compels the municipality to act. And I think the best example of that in section 6, it compels the municipality to take what it describes as appropriate action against businesses, institutions, or other entities that may differentiate or discriminate on the basis of, and one of the things was immigration status. And we looked at how the federal courts have talked about, protected classes and those types of things, and home rule powers of municipalities. And one thing we kept coming back to is, when you use that term and you say immigration status globally, that necessarily includes a subset of individuals who have violated federal law by entering the country illegally. And we felt that there was no precedent that would allow creation of a class based specifically on violation of part of federal law. So that was our concern. And our concern also was that with respect to the federal courts and how they've looked at some of these issues, for example, employers, they're specifically prohibited from hiring someone who's entered the country illegally. And the ordinance could be read as compelling the municipality to take action against someone who took that position. So what my job as a lawyer is to look at, you know, what are the worst case scenarios? What could possibly happen to expose the municipality to liability? And so again, my role, I don't get to play the role of policymaker, and my role is to say, well, here's where we may have an issue down the road. It's possible that they will never come, it's possible that issue will never arise, but again, it's my duty, and I wouldn't be taking my job seriously, and I wouldn't be doing my duty to the municipality if I didn't say that, you know, we had some concern, and that was why we felt that particular language in 3 and 6 was different from the way we use the immigration status in the rest of them. And again, with the rest of it, we don't have any issue, I don't see any legal issues, it's a policy statement on behalf of the municipality, and I think it's very appropriate that the municipality would take action in all of those other areas and refer to the appropriate agencies, state or federal, and to take action itself as a municipality. So those were the two very narrow concerns that we had with respect to 3 and 6.
President?
Trustee Roser?
Thank you. I have a question for you, Attorney Bear. Just because I don't like to break, you know, I don't want to put the village into jeopardy either. The way I read it, though, you skipped over the important word, which made me slightly feel more comfortable. It said, the Village of Shorewood will take appropriate action to investigate. It didn't necessarily mean that there was any further disciplinary action required in the language. So I felt a little more comfortable. And it also says that to investigate or be investigated, which could be another entity, but complaints that any business, institution, or other entity is knowingly or unlawfully. So all throughout, it says unlawfully, and unless, and I know our attorney here in the audience is shaking his head yes, but I took it as because you're not, the resolution says we won't condone real estate practices that are, you know, unlawful. And so as long as, you know, we're enforcing the law, I didn't see that we would be in any danger. I could be wrong, but that's how I read it.
Sure, and you know, there's a tenet of interpretation that each subsection and word has specific meaning, and so there's not only does it say that, but it also talks about taking appropriate action, and the implication from that is that there would be, you know, of course, follow up and some action taken by the municipality against perhaps an owner or a business that potentially discriminated based upon that status. So that was really our concern. And there may not be an issue with this board understanding that, but arguably the resolution may be in perpetuity, and you know there may be others on the board down the road. And, you know, we just don't know.
Trustee McCabe?
So 2 questions. Since it's since this language occurs within a resolution, which is not an ordinance, is that as significant? And number 2, is it your professional, are you advising the board to remove that language or just performing a role? That's what
Well, again,
if that makes sense.
Right. Well, the first
You're
part
usually very good about giving us options, right?
The first part of your question, I would agree with you that as a resolution, it's different than an ordinance, no doubt. But because of the language in directing the municipality to take action, we felt it was appropriate to share this opinion so that all eyes were open. You know, whether or not the board wants to adopt it with that language or without, again, that's a policy question that I don't, you know, I don't want to give an opinion on because, you know, now you're aware of the potential issue, and you know, and again, that's the role of the board as opposed to legal counsel.
Trustee Bachhorst?
As Mr. Pastrana had said, this is it's a very slippery time right now. I can't remember the exact words he used. So there is no real precedent for this right now, and that's why I feel confident that we as Shorewood can make this kind of policy statement or a reaffirmation of our values in this community. As a public safety chair, I do want to thank the other members of the public safety group and the Shorewood Solid Network, as well as the many residents that have asked us to also pursue this type of resolution and the subsequent ordinance, and as well as the staff. I think this has been a highly collaborative process, and it has taken a little bit longer than any of us would have hoped, but probably for very good reason. I believe that we all learned a lot through this process, and It's been informative, and I believe it'll pave the way for a very progressive ordinance that supports the values of this community. So I want to thank everyone who's here tonight, and I look forward to voting for this as well.
I fully support this resolution. I am concerned about the clause 3 and 6, because it is creating a whole separate, there is established protected classes, and as our business owners, you cannot employ, you have to look at immigration status of the employees. So what is this resolution going to put the village, what position is this going to put the village in? When it itself has to implement the Immigration Reform Control Act procedures in hiring people. Immigration status is a condition of employment. In real estate, it is not in the statutes, the immigration status. The other race, ethnicity, which is really the issue. Also, this does extensive, I support the resolution, but I think the 2, 3, and 6 should be amended to reflect the actual protected classes.
Dignity. I just want to know if there's other people from the audience that want to speak, and I just have one other question. If there are people who want to speak, I can ask it after they're done. I just wanted to know what next steps were. Yes? Oh.
I would be the one.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to know when I should ask that question. Whether if there are people, then I would wait.
Go ahead, Sarah. Did you want to say something?
Well, I was just going to say this before, that I do appreciate the work that staff has done. It is their job to ensure that whatever resolution, ordinance, or anything that we adopt in this village is in the best interest of the village at large. So I want to thank you. I know this is kind of tricky because this is uncharted territory and there are a lot of hypotheticals, a lot of fear around this. But it is, again, a statement of principles and values for the village. So when we work on the ordinance, we can, I believe, work with a lot of those other details. Sorry, my mic broke. That's all I need to say.
Do we have a motion from Trustee Maher?
I would make a motion to amend the motion to remove the words immigration status in section 3.
Pass it. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay. All right, so we have a motion to amend with the second, so we have to take that motion up first.
Why are we amending?
I'm going to defer to the work of the committee and the work of Shorewood Solidarity and the work of legal counsel to keep the wording as it appears before us.
Also, I'm not sure if Trustee Rozek already mentioned, but we did, in the long discussions we had about add in unlawfully, that we will not unlawfully discriminate. So,
Yes.
so I'm also comfortable with the resolution as put forward by Shorewood Solidarity.
My comment on it is, the resolution as stated with the wording of immigration status in the clauses 3 and 6 does reflect what I believe I and the community would like to see in it. There are the risks that we will have to look at. Bear in mind that when
when we get to an ordinance, it may be a different story too. So.
I just turned it off.
Okay, so we're going to call a question on the amendment to the motion right now. So all in favor of, and this would mean that a yes vote would amend the motion to take out the wording of immigration status in clauses 3 and 6, and a vote of no would take us back to the original motion to leave it in. So with that, I'll call the question. All in favor of the motion as stated, say aye.
The amended motion?
The amended motion, thank you. There's the motion to amend, right? So and the aye vote would be to remove. So all in favor of the amendment to the motion, say aye. All opposed, say nay.
Nay.
Nay. Worthwhile discussion to take that extra step too.
See, I'm not against it, I just wanted to have a full deliberation.
That's right.
You have to hear from them.
So with that, we'll go to the original motion to, I believe it was to approve the resolution as brought to us.
With the amendments.
With the amendments that trustee amendment made. So all in favor of the motion? This will be a roll call vote.
Trustee Amenta. Aye. Trustee Bottorff.
Yes.
Trustee Maher.
Yes.
Trustee McKay.
Yes.
Trustee Rosick. Yes. Trustee Zovik.
Aye.
President Johnson.
Aye.
The vote is 7-0.
I'll make a report on it tonight at the joint package. Oh.
My name is James Carnell. I'm a transgender activist, and I came to work with the Shorewood Solidarity Network in response to a request by members of the community that do not feel comfortable discussing their gender identity publicly. When I first came here, one of the first things that Nathan handed me was a draft of the ordinance in which he had crossed out gender identity as a protected status. He told me that you could not create a new protected class. However, the state of Wisconsin in 1982 created a new protected class for lesbian, gay, bisexual people so that they would be protected when they sought employment and when they sought housing. And this is a protected class that still has not been recognized federally, yet the state of Wisconsin holds to its tradition of creating and affirming new protected classes so that its citizens can all enjoy equal access to opportunity. As a matter of precedent, when I came here, Nathan, although I'm sure he did take this very seriously and did his professional